Pat out in the shop again from Rain Country. Yesterday I built a little project out of some stuff I had around the shop here, and for a buddy of mine, they had this old lamp here. They just want to hang this in their garden area, and so I built him a little hanger to hang on a post. The post is actually going to be recessed into the ground. Obviously this is sitting horizontally, and so what I did is have this little piece of metal here that I welded to this little flat bar, and then I burnt the 4x4 to give it that distressed old look, and pressure washed it after I burnt it. I rounded the corners here with a router, and then I burnt this with a torch, and then I pressure washed it to remove all of the charred material off of here, and so it leaves this kind of look here. So my buddy, he can put like a sealer on there like Thompson's or Woodlife or something, and go ahead and seal that up if he wants to. But I made a little post cap for it, and so that should be a nice little decorative piece for their garden. Anyway, obviously this is in a horizontal position. The lamp will hang off of that hook, and I think they'll like it. But today what I'm going to try to do is duplicate a handle for our wood stove. Every couple years we use our wood stove so much that it wears out. It wears this out. This is supposed to be 3/8 of an inch out of 1/2 inch stock, but you can see where it wears really bad in here, and so then the door gets sloppy, and so then you can't get a good tight seal around the wood stove. Well, this one here is this year's. Obviously you got to remove the handle, and basically all this is a piece of 8-inch 8-inch long half inch rod, and obviously they mill this down on a metal lathe to 3/8 of an inch, and so there'll be a little natural collar here, and then there's washers that go on the one side, then the door, and then another washer, and then this little cam goes on there to tighten up the door. There's a keyway in there. I don't have the bit for that. I was going to try to see if I can mill this on my drill press. If I can get the correct bit, that looks like it's about 1/8 or something. And obviously I have the, well, maybe not obvious for everybody, but I have sets of taps that I can use to tap the end, and I can also bend this with a little bit of heat. But I don't have a metal lathe to where I can chuck this up and turn this down. So I have the idea of cutting this round stock off to 8 inches, and then chucking this up in the drill press so it's vertical like that, and see if I can't somehow grind this down or sand it down or something like that to where I've got that little 8-inch piece in there. A 3/8 of an inch shaft portion on this, if I can sand that down or mill it down somehow on the drill press, then I can easily tap it. But then I have to figure out how to put this keyway in here. If I don't have the milling bits for that. So I'm gonna run down to the store a little later today and see if they have any that I can use to mill this little keyway in here as well. You can see here how this is winding on this away. All the way back. It's winding in, let's see, this away. All the way back in here. So I have to counter rotate. So when I turn this, it actually swells this up just barely. And then I got to pull back towards me in order to get that off of there. I don't think beating on that with a chisel was the best alternative. There we go. So one of these days I'll have to break down and buy a set of micrometers. All these years I've been eyeballing. So this is, I've only taken that down a 1/16 of an inch. I got another 1/16 to go before I'm down to 3/8. So now that hole that goes into the door, that I might just, that's just a good heavy 3/8. Like I say, if I had a micrometer, I could tell you exactly what it is. But I'm pretty sure that that's too big to go into the door right now. Okay, I'm over here at the wood stove. Just in case anybody's curious, this is a quadrifier. It's got a good flat top on it. Mama Rain, she cooks on this thing all winter long, and so I'm not far from making this just the right diameter to put in here. So I'll go out and chuck this back up on the drill press. We'll see if we can fine file this down using just a flat file, and see if I can get a defined edge in here, a 90-degree to ledge in here, and still gonna have to figure out how to get this keyway in here without an end mill. So anyway, we're still in the think tank on that one, but while we're working on figuring out a way to get the keyway in there, let's see if we can get this shaft down to where the size it's supposed to be. Okay, after a good period of time of turning on the drill press and shutting it off and turning it back on again several times, I finally got my diameter right on the shaft here. I'm going to step down. Again, I went to the store and couldn't find any bits to put that little keyway in there. So I'm going to try something a little unorthodox here and see if I can carve that in with the die grinder. That didn't turn out too bad. All the way across there is exactly 3/8 of an inch, and it fits into the end of this. Fits right into the end of the cam there. I'm going to go stick it in the wood stove door and see if it fits in there as well as it fits on that keyway, just to make double sure. Went ahead and decided to get a little cheap set of end mills for milling in this little keyway here. So here's the new handle that I'm working on. Still have to put a set of dies down and then cut this keyway in here. Well, I needed a set of end mills to try to go ahead and cut that groove in there for the keyway for the this little cam that shuts the door. So you can see the little key in there. Well, that's got to go in the end of that. Well, I broke off that little 1/8 inch end mill bit. As you can see, I wasn't taking off very much at a time, but it was wandering on me. Maybe I should just took a little less than that off. That's about maybe a 32nd of an inch or something there I was trying to take off at a time. Maybe 1/64th, but it started wandering and it got stretched out there and broke on me. So I'm going to go ahead and try the 3/16 bit, see if I got any better luck with that. Obviously my notch is going to be just a little bit wider than the 1/8, but I think it's going to hold fine. As you can see, it's not a very clean cut. I think it's just, this has a lot of slop to it. The vise does. And so I think that was part of the reason why the 1/8 inch one broke. The other part was just me being green on this. But the 3/16 one should be fine. Now that I have a flat spot, this keyway, as you can see, this keyway here should fit on there flat. And it'll keep that cam from turning. This is also going to have a nut on the back side of it. When I go ahead and thread this, it'll be tight, nice and tight. So I don't think you're going to have any movement at all. Okay, so through running the die onto this existing threaded piece, the old handle, I determined that die there fit those threads. And so what I have now is I'm going to go ahead and die this with a 3/8 die. can see, I have this suspended by a little bit of form wire, this little piece of wire hanging from the rafters. And I go ahead and I do that so I can just go ahead and you know, spray paint all sides of the project. I can shoot it all at once and there's no runs or anything like that. So I'll go ahead and let that dry, and what I'll do is I'll put that little mesh handle on there, and we'll go ahead and get that thing installed on the wood stove. That makes a good seal. That should be good to save us some firewood this winter. So yeah, that didn't cost me anything but time. I bought some cheap little end mill bits. I don't even remember what they cost. I think they were like under $15 or something like that. I can't remember. I'd have to ask Mrs. Rain what they were, but anyway, they were pretty cheap, but now I'll be able to make those as long as I got 1/2 inch stock. A little bit of stove paint. I can manufacture those for here and ever after. Appreciate you viewing us, checking us out. Thanks, bye.